What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica, and we're down here still. We're still down here. Okay, let's talk about some hot topics, and then we're going to talk about Encore. My son watching it. My youngest son, he likes to watch different things with me. I'm going to tell you what he said about Keely. I don't be saying nothing about anybody. I just listen to him when he says little things on the side and under his breath, like when he catches stuff. It's funny. Anyways, we'll talk about Encore after this. Gary Owen and Wendy Williams. Okay, so Wendy, I know it's late, y'all, but they say Wendy Williams and Gary Owen was spotted out on a date. I don't know if they were on a date, but I remember watching the Wendy Williams show and seeing her ask this man who is in the middle of a divorce. I don't know, but apparently she's attracted to him for whatever reason. Do I find Gary Owen attractive? No, not at all. Never have. Never have. But we know he was married for 17 years to Miss Kenya Duke. And Wendy, I felt uncomfortable. I was embarrassed. I also thought about if Wendy was a man and Gary was a woman, how that would have been received by the public. I think we would have burned the city down if a man was actively asking a still married woman out on their talk show, on their turf. I didn't like it, y'all. I was embarrassed for Wendy. I thought it was an abuse of power. I did, because you're sitting in my turf and I'm actively like trying to ask you out. It's very uncomfortable. He did not look comfortable. But they said they was out later, so I don't know. They said, this is according to Madame Noir. She said, while Owen didn't give Wendy an answer on air, apparently he was down for dinner because according to several reports, including this one from Radar Online, the two did make it out with one another. Sources told the outlet that Williams and Owen, you guys spelled Owen wrong. You spelled it Owen, W-O-W-N, were spotted at the reopening of Scotto's restaurant in New York City this past Thursday. The two reportedly sat together in a booth, smiling, laughing, and chatting. While his appearance on Wendy Williams' show might have resulted in a good time for Owen and Williams, it had the opposite effect on his estranged wife. After the comments he made on the show, Duke released a lengthy statement. You can see what she said below. Gary, while I'm not impressed, I am highly irritated. I keep telling myself I will no longer respond to any actions or untruths because I am better than that. But the truth, I guess, I am not. You talk about me all the time on stage, in conversation. It gets back to me. I don't care, but the mockery was too much. I am shocked you spent most of your time talking about me, the divorced son and daughter. My thing is, why was he on there? What was he promoting? Do Gary Owen got something coming out? Because I don't follow him at all. His comedy, back in the day, probably he was funny. I don't know. I remember Gary Owen has just always been around, and I don't know. And I don't know. I was embarrassed, and I thought it was an abuse of power. I thought it was highly inappropriate. I thought that if it was the other way around, we would be down here screaming and hollering if like a David Letterman was sitting there trying to ask, I know you're getting a divorce, or Kim, because she's getting a divorce, like sitting there actively asking out and then like, flirting and stuff. I didn't like it. I'm sorry. I didn't like it. So that's how I felt about the Wendy and Gary Owen thing. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about it. Did y'all see it from my perspective? Like, did you think like if Wendy was a man, how inappropriate it would have been? So I feel like it's just as inappropriate if she does it, because women have, look at the Janet Mock and what's his name, Angel, the young guy, Poppy from Pose, how she was going out with him. I think she's like damn near 15 years, almost 20 years older than Poppy. And it's like, and it's an abuse of power. Women do abuse power. So I feel like that's how I feel. Okay, that's it. That's enough. Katt Williams, comedian's responsibilities as times get sensitive, you know, I have always been a proponent in leaving comedy alone. However, I do agree with the Virgo. I believe that, and I think Desus and Meryl said it a long time ago, if you cannot be a comedian without being mean and insulting people, then you're not really good at the craft. I think that if you're really a comedian, you will be able to adjust to the times and still be able to toe the line, get your jokes out without being completely offensive to an entire group of people, whatever group you are talking about. Because I believe that comedy is supposed to, a comedian is supposed to observe what's going on in the world, look at the things that are the most tragic, and try to make you laugh from those tragedies, right? Try to make you see the ridiculousness of our society. Jerry Seinfeld does a great job of that. Katt Williams does a great job of that. Chris Rock does a great job of that. Just the showing us, like, towing the line. A lot of people don't like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle and Jerry Seinfeld are two of my favorite comedians, right? Dave Chappelle and Jerry Seinfeld. A lot of people don't like Dave Chappelle. I think Dave Chappelle is clever in his comedy. I think that Jerry Seinfeld is clever in his comedy. I love Cedric the Entertainer. I like Katt Williams. I like Katt Williams because Katt Williams is so smart. He's so smart. You know, he's a Virgo. You know Dave Chappelle is a Virgo too. Okay. He's so smart, and I want to see what he does with what's going on in the world. I think it's clever for you, because I feel like, what is his name? Jeff Ross. He says, you know, when you're a comedian, you're not doing a good job unless half of the room is cracking up laughing and the other half of the room is offended by something you said, like, I'm getting up and walking out. Because some people's style of comedy is not for everybody. Like D.L. Hughley. I did not like his style of comedy. I thought D.L. Hughley was so mean. Like, I was like, why is he so mean? And why is he talking about everybody? Why is he so mean? And, you know, I haven't seen him do stand-up in a while, but I agree with him. Let me see what it says. He says, cancel culture doesn't exist. Comedians who are afraid should get out of the business. The comic 49 appeared on the Joe Budden podcast to promote his upcoming film, The House Next Door, Meet the Blacks 2. When the host asked him directly for his opinions on culture's state of comedy and what cancel culture means for the future of the genre, Williams took a hard stance on the issue, arguing, this is Fox News, arguing that it's merely an invitation for talented artists to elevate their work and their craft. I agree with him. If you ask all the people who didn't make it to the NBA, if you ask them if we just lowered the goal down another foot, they would all tell you they'd make it. Nobody likes the out of bounds, but the out of bounds has got to be there. Some of these things are for the benefit of everything. Nobody likes the speed limit, but it's necessary. Nobody likes the shoulder of the road, but it's there for a reason. My point is, people weren't all that extremely funny back in the day when they could just say whatever they want. At the end of the day, there's no cancel culture. Cancellation doesn't have its own culture. I agree. I feel like we should change the name from cancel culture to, you know, accountability culture. I think that's what a part of it is. But I feel like people take that accountability and use it to shame and guilt people. It's like, I'm gonna hold you accountable, but I want you to stop existing, right? That's like cancel culture. I don't want you to be around anymore. I think when somebody says somebody is canceled, you feel powerful in that moment. You really can't cancel anybody. I do agree with Michael Eric Dyson when he says the cancel culture is a tentacle of white supremacy. You do not agree with what somebody did. You want to go back and, you know, go in the filing cabinet and find something somebody did 20 years ago and hold them accountable for it today and try to say, I'm canceling you for something that you did 20 years ago. there's no such thing. I do think that it makes people feel like they have some sort of power. I feel like if you are not creative and you are not talented, that you cannot, okay, here are boundaries. You can't go over these boundaries. If you are a comedian, a good comedian, you can toe the line. You can stay right at the boundary and be like, oh, and everybody in the audience is going to be like, oh my God. Oh, okay. Ooh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's what it's about. So I agree with Katt Williams. Shout out to Katt Williams. Juneteenth has been made a national holiday. Shout out to the people who decided. You know, a lot of people are not happy. First of all, let me say this. Let me wait for the little article to come up. There are some people who are not happy about it. Some people feel like, oh, you just giving black people a little, you know, a little morsel of food. You just giving a little crumb and this and that. Some people, like, they didn't want Juneteenth to become mainstream. Here's the thing. There are holidays for different cultures that have become mainstream that you celebrate all of the time. Just last month, y'all was drinking margaritas and eating tacos because you was happy that Cinco de Mayo fell on a fucking Tuesday. You ain't Mexican. So, and you definitely don't have any ancestors that was at the Battle of the Pueblos. Is that that's what Cinco de Mayo is about, wasn't it? Okay. My thing is, the people who don't want it to be exclusive, y'all ain't even from Texas, number one. Y'all peoples ain't even from Texas, number two. And let alone, you don't give a shit. Like, you really don't care. And it's like a thing to just complain about something. Let the people give the people Juneteenth. My folks is from Texas, so I've always heard about Juneteenth. It was always a Juneteenth celebration. Just into, I would say, in the last maybe 15 years, it's like spread out where other people in other states are celebrating Juneteenth. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. I think it's great. I think it should be a federal holiday. I think it is a step to say, okay, there's an acknowledgement, right? Because a lot of the issues that black people in America have with the government and its system is that there's this gaslighting that goes on when it comes to slavery and what happened in America and the diaspora with slavery. There's this gaslighting that continues to go on for generations. And I think that acknowledging that, okay, we're going to acknowledge and make it a federal holiday and say, okay, we're acknowledging the official end of slavery in Galveston, Texas. I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. The Senate unanimously passed on Tuesday. What's his name? Signed it into law yesterday, I believe, establishing June 19th as a June 19th National Independence Day as a U.S. holiday commemorating the end of slavery in the United States. The legislation has gained momentum since the massive BLM protests sparked by the police killing of George Floyd last year and Democrats' takeover of the White House and Congress. But Wisconsin Republican Senator Ron Johnson blocked the bill in 2020, saying that a day off for federal employee would cost the taxpayers hundreds and millions of dollars. Although I strongly support celebrating emancipation, I objected to the cost of and lack of debate. While it seems strange that having taxpayers provide federal employees paid time off is now required, it's like you're worried about the people being off of work to commemorate the end of slavery. You don't even get how stupid you sound. Like, that's the crazy. These niggas don't even understand how stupid they sound. You are really concerned about people having time off and how much that's going to cost the labor force to commemorate the end of slavery. You can't make this shit up. You really can't. You really can't make this shit up. Anyways, that's it. Shout out to that. Shout out. Tomorrow is June 19th. Shout out. It's a federal holiday, so I guess if it falls on a weekend, I guess it will be the next Monday, or usually is it before? When are they going to do it? Because if it's considered a federal holiday and it lands on a Saturday, do you observe it on a Friday and people get off on that Friday? How's that going to work? I love it. I'm here for it. Shout out to the people in Texas for blowing the horn and making the announcement in Galveston, finally getting, it was like 2 years later, some shit like that. Crazy. Texas, in 1980, it became a Texas state holiday. So Texas naturally would be the state to like kind of, set it off or whatever, because that's where it happened. I see people online, like I said, I see people online saying that, oh, they just throwing us bones and they just giving us a little by little. Where's the anti-lynching bill? Okay. Where is that? Like, okay, where is the anti-lynching bill? Why hasn't that passed? I don't think it's giving anyone crumbs. I don't think it should be viewed as somebody's getting crumbs and they're just trying to pacify black people. I do think it's an acknowledgement that, because, like I said, they do the gaslighting about slavery. They act like it wasn't that bad. They act like the effects and the remnants of slavery doesn't exist to this day. And, but shout out to Juneteenth. All right. I don't know what kind of, because every holiday, the stores are full of things. So I don't know, like, what are going to be the decorations for Juneteenth? What are some decorations that you could have for Juneteenth? That's funny. Think about it. Because they're going to figure out a way to monetize this, right? So they're going to have to come up with decorations. What are the Juneteenth decorations going to look like, y'all? Because you see how they do Cinco de Mayo. You see how they do what other holiday for another culture do we celebrate in America? January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So you have Mexican, Black, you have American, because 4th of July, it's like, okay, girl. August, September, October, November. That's it. It's just Cinco de Mayo, Juneteenth, and 4th of July. May, June, July. Okay, that's fine. All right, y'all. Godfrey. Honey, let me talk about Godfrey real quick. So Godfrey was triggered by a ad where it was a black woman and a white man on the ad. And if you haven't noticed, a lot of advertisements lately have been giving you interracial, multicultural couples in their advertisements. I see IKEA was the first one to do it. Shout out to IKEA. They were the first ones to do it. We saw that old Cheerios ad where the people, I think it played during Super Bowl, and the people went up in arms. They don't want to see interracial couples. But Godfrey was particularly upset because it was a black woman with a white man. And he was at first trying to make a joke by saying, oh, what y'all, what are they trying to see? There's that man again. What are y'all trying to say? Are y'all trying to say that if you get with a white man, you have better insurance? Yes. That could have been the joke. But he went off and he was saying black men started this shit because we abandoned y'all. He really lost his cool. Godfrey used to pander to black women and act like black women, act like he stuck up for black women with that Gina Rodriguez thing. But they always end up showing you who they are. After everything happened, he went on a rant. And see, there's a man right there. You want me to I'm going to take a picture of him. I'm going to take a picture. He's standing right here. He has his back face to me. He has his little fluffy dog. I took a picture of him. And his dog is stopped, so that's why he's standing in front of my car. But he hasn't looked over here. He has sunglasses. It's crazy on because he has sunglasses on. He has on a hood. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can get him when he turns around. So anyways, so Godfrey was really upset. He was mad because, you know, black women kind of got on his ass. They didn't kind of get on his ass. They were dragging his ass. Dragging him and really just letting him know that you sound stupid. He, you know, he panders to the black woman. He, you know, I even found a tweet. I always go back when they come out and show us who they are. I always go back and look for a tweet. So I had the tweet of him cussing out Gina Rodriguez, and I was like here for it. I was here for it because we know how Gina Rodriguez is. But what he did after was really indicative of how he feels. Every single trope, stereotype, all of the material that have been used by black men to shame and guilt and talk shit about black women, he used everything. He opened up the old playbook and was using old material. That's how you know he's not a good comedian, because every single thing that came out of his mouth when he was mad is from an old playbook. I want you niggas to get new material. I really do, because I don't think a lot of there are some black women who still respond to those things about, you know, you're a bed wench and all this other stuff, when in actuality the bed wench would not have been created if you protected your woman. And that's just what it is. Okay? So it's so funny that the words that you use and the things that you use to insult black women is really a result of your inability and lack of capability. So when you down black women, you really down yourself. And that's what you look ridiculous. He was everything you could think of, from the playbook, from the how to insult a black woman, the single mother, the being interracial. You are so triggered by this idea that black women are like, oh, you know what? These niggas ain't race loyal, so why are we race loyal? And other advertisers are marketing to that, and you don't like it. You would have rather seen not two black people, but you would have rather seen a black man with a white woman. Not two black people, Mr. Black Love, and you only use, you know what the black men love to say. They only use the white women because they're liberal in the bed and they're a little bit more sexual and they're nice and contrite. Look at Meghan McCain on the TV cussing people out. That's the epitome. I don't even want to get on her. Let's get back to Godfrey. Oh, this man is trading his German Shepherd. Oh, so cute. Anyways, so Godfrey got upset. He showed his ass. He realized I really talked about the base that actually supports me. He sits across from Vlad all the time. Anybody who sits across from Vlad, I'm looking at them like this. Because Vlad is an agent. He is an agent. He is used to, he's sitting there and allowing you to tell your stories to him. He monetizes off of it. What do you get from being on Vlad? And what do you get from being on Vlad all the time? I don't get it. The Nick Cannons, I could understand why Boosie is sitting in front of him. But I don't know, maybe it's because you feel like, oh my God, I can sit across from this white man. He's listening to my stories. He's accepting me. I'm so happy. Maybe that's what it is. I don't get it. But Godfrey showed his ass, and I won't be supporting him anytime soon. I used to fuck with Godfrey. I used to be like, I thought he was handsome. He looks, I was like, oh, he ugly. You ain't cute no more. You ugly. You ugly. Your attitude is ugly. You stank. You ugly. Oh, he thought he was getting the ball. I'm looking at these people train their German Shepherd. That German Shepherd is huge. He wants his ball. Aww. Anyways, y'all, so Godfrey ain't shit, and that's about it. So let's go, because I got another video to make. What do you guys think? Y'all can get down in the comments. I know the Godfrey story is a little old. I was waiting to see how it developed, honestly, because every day it was just more and more and more and more stuff. And like I said, he just the nice guys, give him enough time. Give them enough time. The guys who claim that they damn, like, you talk that shit that, oh, black women are this and black women are that, but then when you really get, when the black women say, hey, that's not cool, now you want to turn on them, the people who are your base. That's how you know he's not there, because you really turned on your base. And he keeps saying, not all black women, because you trying to hold on to the ones who are still wrapped up in this, what Cynthia G says, this black male worshiping society. There's some of us who are still caught up in that. And so they're still like, oh, Godfrey, I understand what you were saying. Oh, Godfrey, oh, Godfrey, oh, Godfrey. No. Godfrey can kick rocks with open-toe sandals on until his what did Nene say? And I would rather walk down the street with open-toe sandals with all of my toenails clipped off than to ever work with Kim Zolciak again. I would rather walk down the street with all of my toenails clipped off and pulled out than support Godfrey again. Anyways, y'all, take care of each other. Protect your energy. Peace.